What's going on, everybody? It's Supernova296 here, and they did it. They actually did it. They actually dropped the ban list before the next YCS. I know, KK, it's crazy. They never do this. I say they never do this, but part of me really thought that they weren't going to announce a new ban list until after YCS 300. It seemed like a very Konami thing to do, to try to just tie people off with that emergency ban list back in October, to then try to satiate them until after YCS 300, where they make it a big event, because the next ban list dropping at the 300th YCS seems like a very big deal. But no, they actually went and dropped a ban list today, and I wanted to go over it with you guys. We're going to start with the unlimited list and work our way up to the ban list. And usually with unlimited, they don't really add a lot of cards to note on here. It's usually just cards have been power crept, but there's actual things to talk about here. So first, I'm going to start off with Black Dragon, Collapse Serpent, and White Dragon, Wyvern Burst. These cards were really prevalent in Dragon Link, and I don't think Dragon Link is going to be as good as people say, at least for now. When a new Rocket support comes out, it would definitely be much better. But I think they unbanned these in preparation for the new Dragon Link supports. That way people have a reason to play these. Do they have a huge place in the format? I think when that comes out, there'll be staples for Dragon Link just like they always have. But until Eclipse Wyvern is unbanned, which it probably never will, they will continue to be just that staple cards that aren't as good as people think they are. Dark Grepher, I'm gonna be honest with you, don't know why this card's here. I don't know if I played around the time this card got banned. I didn't pick up competitive Yu-Gi-Oh until 2021. I was very much a casual Andy until up to that point. And even then, I quit in 2014 and got back in 2021. So don't really know why this card's here. I read the effect and I'm like, I can see where this card once upon a time would have been good, but now it's been severely power crept, so I can see them putting this at unlimited. Nobody's really playing this card. Zodiac Trident is here. A lot of people were really scared when Zodiacs were coming back, but looking at the archetype, because again, this is before I came back to Yu-Gi-Oh! I feel like Zodiacs, with the hints that they currently still have, aren't as prevalent as they once were. I believe that if they completely unban them, I think they could still run house. But as it sits right now with the hits they currently have, I think Zodiac Trident can come back. Rank 4 strategies aren't super prevalent like they were back in YuGiOh Malice format. So I think this could come back at 3. Change of Heart coming to 3. Yeah. As a Yugi boomer, this hurts my soul to know that this card has been power crept to the point where we can come back to 3 and nobody will play it. I do think it'll be a really good budget staple. If you're new to the game and you just want like some cards to add to your deck, I do think Change of Heart is a really good one. But as far as like major competitive plays, I don't think Change of Heart is it. Same thing with Snatch Steal here. Snatch Steal is really only good in one deck, and that's Mikanko. Other than that, Snatch Steal can be here, it's fine. Crystron Inclusion. Crystrons also aren't as prevalent as they were. I think this is a hit on the ban list to try to bring Crystrons back into the game a little bit, to give them a little bit more of a fair shot now that Draco Tail is in the mix. But again, it's just a hit that's just like, it can come back at 3, sure. The ones I really want to talk about are the Vanquished Soul hits. Rosin and Stank Your Soul went from being limited to unlimited, and this kind of circumvents what they did with the ban list back in October. Because originally they tried to hit K9 VS, and they did so by limiting Sticker Soul and Rosin, but keeping everything else the same, aside for banning the horrible meme monster. And a lot of people, myself included, said I think that's the wrong hits. I think the correct hits would have been cards like Holy Sue, Jokul. I would ban that stupid K9 Wolf card because it's annoying as hell. But this does make the K9 VS deck a VS K9 deck again, by being more of a Vanquished Soul deck with a K9 engine than a K9 engine with some VS cards splashed in, which I think is what people wanted. I think the people who like VS just want to play VS and have it be a top contender deck, not it be like, oh, it's just something I throw into a top contender deck. Moving on to the semi-limits, not much to talk about here. Usually this is where they put a bunch of stuff, but Draw and Lockbird. I see we're giving this the Max Seed treatment. What I mean by that is that it is a toxic card that a lot of people want banned, and Konami, for whatever reason, wants this toxic card to stay in the game, and they just clutch their body pillow and go, no, you will not take my little twink bird person. You will not take it away from me, goddammit. So rather than banning it, which is what people want to happen because it's a severely unfun floodgate, they put it to 2. Now, granted, this does hurt the consistency of it, but I don't think it hurts it enough to where people aren't going to play it. Look at Shifter, for example. A lot of decks that can play Shifter don't play it anymore because you don't see it often enough. K9 VS does. K9 VS runs the shit out of Shifter. It's a one of, and every person I ever fight at locals somehow has this thing glued to their starting hand. People still play it. It's going to be the same with Droll. Only difference is people are going to cut down to one Droll if they're playing a 41 card deck. Now they're playing 40. They're playing a 40 card deck. They're just going to find a random one of good card to put in here. Usually until I find some new tech, I'll either A, take a card I'm only running one of and put two in, just have that much more consistency of it, or I'll just pick a funny one of card like Monster Reborn and throw it into the deck. Moving over to the limits, this is actually where a lot of discussion can be had. Dracotail Malulu is on here, as well as K9 Jokul, Vanquisho Holisu, Yummy Snatchy, Habakiri, Case for K9, and Kedu Dracotail. I do really like seeing Habakiri here. Habakiri was a problem. It is just a card that does everything for you. So even if you got rid of one, you still had two others you had to deal with in the deck that can still activate their effects. So putting it to one, I think is a really good hit. I knew that they weren't going to hit Mitsurugi hard because the new structure deck is coming out. The three cards I could see them hitting were Habakiri, Prayers, or Ritual. I would have loved to see one of those cards added to the list along with Habakiri, but we'll take what we can get. They're going to try to sell the structure decks. They can't just put everything to one. They can't just ban the deck outright. They have to make the deck sellable. So I'll take the biggest problem card. Yummy Snatchy, I feel like kind of solidifies the reign of Yummy ending. Yummy Snatchy is what basically enables a lot of the plays and the searches in Yummy. And it being at one, it's if you can get rid of the Snatchy and negate it, they can't do it again. They just can't. They won't be able to go into another Snatchy to use as a level 1 for their tuning into the Yummy monsters. It just, if you stop the first Snatchy, then they're kind of up shit creek without a paddle. I'm happy it's here. I think this does solidify. Yummy is no longer the best deck. We are now in Dracotail territory. Vanquisho Holisu and K9 Jokul. These are hits to the K9 VS deck, and these are the hits that we should have seen in the beginning. These are the hits we should have seen in the beginning. Again, the bans that they did were fine, but the hits to limit, they hit the wrong card. And a part of me wants to say they hit the cards that they did as opposed to Holisu and Jokul is for sales. And that's most honestly probably the biggest reason. Because Holisu and Jokul were both the newest cards to the deck, and it doesn't make sense to hit new cards and just say, oh, well, we're not selling the old cards anymore, so people aren't just going to buy these anymore. These people aren't going to open these packs anymore. So these are welcome changes to the deck. Draco Malulu and Ketu Dracotail, get these things out of here. The deck needs to be hit, especially with where the deck is going to be going after the new set drops with the new Albaz support. The deck is going to be absolutely nuts. So the more hits this thing can take, the better. And finally, moving over to the Forbidden List. Bear Statue of the Torrent is finally banned. If I'm not mistaken, this was the last Torrent statue that needed to be banned before they're all banned. So no more floodgates. That's always a plus. This just in. Malice found dead behind an alley. Malice QY Binder has been shot and killed. The deck is no longer playable at this point. And part of me feels bad for the Malice players because it's like, oh, their deck is completely unplayable. They have to find a brand new deck. But the other part of me says, fuck Malice. Herald of the Arclight is the reoccurring Omni-Negate that usually is left in Yummy. And it's annoying, to say the least. It's super annoying. It can be summoned on your opponent's turn, especially with cool tunes. So I'm happy this thing is gone. And finally, Harpy's Featherstorm. This is a hit against the new Mystic Typhoon archetype that came out. This thing, the whole plan was to set this thing up to begin with, the Blackwing Typhoon deck. The whole strategy was set up Harpy's Featherstorm. Now it's banned. I think the deck is still pretty much playable. It's just lost its main strategy. So those are the hits for the new ban list. It is effective February 2nd, so these hits won't be effective for another 2 weeks. So players whose strategies change up significantly have 2 weeks to try to figure out a new strategy or figure out what deck they're going to be playing in the future. There's some other cards I wish could be hit on here, but I am happy with the deck for the most part. But I think that's going to do it for this ban list episode. Let me go know what you guys think in the comments below. Is this ban list good? Is it bad? Is it mid? What would you want to see that's not on the ban list? What do you think they shouldn't have put on this ban list? And if your deck has changed, what changes you're going to be making? And if your deck is now unplayable, RIP Malice. what deck do you think will be picking up in the future? So with that being said, I'm gonna get up out of here. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button. Comment below what you think of the video. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. Sometimes it helps me as a whole. I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.